Behind the glittering facade of Hollywood lies a world steeped in shadows, where fame and fortune are often intertwined with tragedy and mystery. We see the glamour on the silver screen, the red carpets, the dazzling smiles. But what if there's a darker side? A hidden script filled with sinister secrets, unexplained accidents, and eerie curses. Today, we pull back the curtain on the Dream Factory to explore the chilling tales that haunt its history, stories that suggest some productions were doomed from the start. Let's begin with films that seem to carry a curse, leaving a trail of misfortune in their wake. Take Rebel Without a Cause. Its three young stars, James Dean, Natalie Wood, and Sal Mineo, all met tragic and premature deaths. Dean died in a car crash just before the film's release. Wood drowned under mysterious circumstances years later, and Mineo was brutally murdered. Coincidence or something more? Then there's The Omen, a film about the Antichrist. During production, star Gregory Peck's plane was struck by lightning, as was the plane of a scriptwriter. Another plane, intended for use in the film, crashed, killing everyone on board. The animal handler was killed by a tiger shortly after filming, and most chillingly, the special effects artist, John Richardson, was involved in a car accident with a tragic outcome eerily similar to a death scene he designed for the movie. Rosemary's Baby also has a dark cloud over it. A year after its release, director Roman Polanski's pregnant wife, Sharon Tate, was murdered by the Manson family. The film's composer died from a brain clot, just like a character in the movie. These aren't just isolated incidents. They're patterns of tragedy that make you wonder if some stories are better left untold. The misfortune isn't limited to standalone films. Entire franchises seem to be plagued by darkness. The Poltergeist trilogy is perhaps the most infamous. Dominique Dunne, who played the eldest daughter Dana, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend shortly after the first film's release. Heather O'Rourke, the angelic little girl who uttered the famous line, "They're here," died at age 12 from a misdiagnosed intestinal issue before the third film was even released. Two other actors from the series also died unexpectedly, fueling the legend that using real human skeletons as props in the first film had angered spirits. Similarly, the Exorcist franchise is surrounded by tales of woe. The original set mysteriously burned down, except for the room where the exorcism scenes were filmed. Actors Jack McGowan and Vasiliki Maliaros both died before the film was even released, and their characters die in the movie as well. Other cast and crew members suffered injuries and personal losses, leading many to believe the film's demonic subject matter invited a real-world evil onto the set. Perhaps one of the most compelling and heartbreaking stories is that of the Lee family. Bruce Lee, a martial arts legend and global superstar, died in 1973 at the age of 32 from a cerebral edema. His death was sudden, shocking, and has been the subject of countless conspiracy theories. He was at the peak of his career, working on a film titled Game of Death. The eerie parallels were just beginning. 20 years later, his son, Brandon Lee, was following in his father's footsteps, starring in the gothic thriller The Crow. In a tragic on-set accident, a prop gun that was supposed to fire blanks was improperly prepared and discharged a real bullet fragment, killing Brandon instantly at the age of 28. The fact that both father and son died young, on the cusp of major stardom, and while working on films with themes of death and resurrection, has led many to believe in a Lee family curse. It's a narrative of immense talent cut short, a dynasty seemingly doomed by an unseen force. Beyond curses, Hollywood's history is stained with preventable tragedies and fatal on-set accidents. The 1982 filming of Twilight Zone, the movie, turned into a real-life horror show. During a scene meant to depict a Vietnam War sequence, a helicopter flying low was damaged by pyrotechnic explosions, causing it to crash. Actor Vic Morrow and two child actors, Mika Dinley and Renee Shinchun, were killed instantly. The incident led to major legal battles and sweeping changes in film production safety regulations, but the loss of life remains a dark chapter in cinema history. Then there's the infamous case of The Conqueror, a 1956 film starring John Wayne as Genghis Khan. It was filmed downwind from a U.S. nuclear testing site in Utah. Over the next few decades, an alarming number of the cast and crew, including stars John Wayne, Susan Hayward, and Agnes Moorehead, as well as director Dick Powell, developed and died from cancer. Out of a crew of 220 people, 91 contracted the disease. While a direct causal link is debated, the statistical anomaly is staggering and serves as a haunting reminder of the unforeseen dangers lurking behind the camera. Sometimes, the horror on screen bleeds into the real world, inspiring chilling copycat crimes and fueling urban legends. The Scream franchise, which satirized horror cliches, became tragically linked to real-life violence. Several murders were committed by attackers who were reportedly inspired by the Ghostface killer, even wearing the same costume. The line between fiction and reality blurred in the most horrific way. The classic slasher Halloween has also been cited in criminal cases, with perpetrators mimicking the silent, relentless terror of Michael Myers. And who can forget the Blair Witch Project? Its revolutionary marketing campaign convinced many that the story of student filmmakers getting lost in the woods was real. While not directly inspiring violence, it created a mass hysteria and spawned a new genre of found-footage horror that continually plays on our deepest fears of what might be lurking just beyond our sight. These films prove that the power of cinema can have profound and sometimes dangerous psychological effects on its audience. As we look back at these stories, we're left with a sense of unease. Are these simply a series of tragic coincidences, the statistical inevitability of misfortune in a high-risk industry? Or is there something more at play? Are some film sets genuinely cursed? Does dabbling in dark subject matter invite real-world negativity? The glamour of Hollywood often conceals a history of exploitation, negligence, and immense pressure. The stories of cursed films and on-set tragedies force us to confront the human cost of entertainment. While we may never have definitive answers, these unresolved mysteries continue to haunt the legacy of cinema, reminding us that behind every great film, there might be a story the creators never intended to tell. If you found this glimpse into Hollywood's hidden history intriguing, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. The magic of the movies is undeniable, but so too is its darkness. Stay curious.